Welcome, Slayer the Alchemist. On today's episode, let's discuss the first self-titled Motorhead album. I've been on a debut album kick lately, so the next couple videos are going to be debut albums from various bands, and I thought I would start here because I've just really been digging this record. I did a video, Motorhead 1977 to 87, ranking those albums, discussing those albums, so that album gets discussed in here, but I wanted to go more in depth. I'll leave that other video linked down below. This is not an original. This is a reissue. I usually don't do reissues, but this album is kind of expensive to find in the original form. I think this is a 2017 white vinyl. Read a lot of good reviews on it, that it sounded good, so I just went for it. It's a little confusing when you're talking about the Motorhead debut album, and the reason for that is that this was the first album that was released under the Motorhead name. This was the first album that was recorded under the Motorhead name. On Parole was recorded in 1976, scrapped by the record label. Eventually it was re-released in 1979 after the band was starting to take off and have success and everything. They decided to cash in and re-release this. This one has Larry Wallace on guitar, so it doesn't have Fast Eddie Clarke. Lucas Fox plays drums on one tune, Lost Johnny. He was in the band at the time, but Filthy Animal Taylor comes in and re-records the drums on this. This is produced by Fritz. Let me put my glasses on here. Fritz Fryer. And the production on this is not very good. It lacks any of the heaviness you would expect from Motorhead. The guitars don't sound particularly good. Just everything just doesn't have the power and punch you would expect from Motorhead. They didn't re-record all these songs on the self-title, but they did re-record Motorhead, Vibrator, let's see, Iron Horse, Born to Lose, The Watcher, and Lost Johnny. And they sound way, way better on here. This is produced by Speedy Keen. And he just gets, the Motorhead sound you expect here. It's maybe not quite as heavy as like where they would with Bomber and Overkill and Ace of Spades and everything, but it's pretty darn close. It has that Motorhead feel all across it. So let's take a look at the songs in this one. I can kind of understand why the band was upset that On Parole was released, because again, it was one of those things that probably should have just been bonus tracks somewhere down the road. Two songs on here appear on No Sleep to Hammersmith, Motorhead, which is sort of their anthem song, if you will, close out the concerts, and Iron Horse, Born to Lose. I love Iron Horse. Lemmy dedicates it to the Hells Angels on No Sleep Till Hammersmith. And by this time now, Fast Eddie Clarke is on this and Filthy is on this, so it's the classic lineup. What else here? Motorhead, the title track song, very catchy. Lemmy always says Motorhead is not a metal band, they're a rock and roll band. He always introduced the band, we're Motorhead, we play rock and roll. And you can kind of hear that like in the title track song here. Because if you were to just put in some Chuck Berry guitars on this, it would work. But here they sort of dirty it up and give it that heavy Motorhead sound. Vibrator, there's another example. That one, Vibrator kind of sticks out on this record. It sounds like a 50s rock song. But again, that's Motorhead. Lemmy, that's his influences, like kind of 50, Johnny Cochran, that kind of sound. Lost Johnny, that's a pretty cool one, pretty heavy. White Line Fever, really like that. Keep Us on the Road. That's a good one too. Kind of maybe a precursor to We Are the Road Crew. Kind of singing about life on the road, that type of thing. The Watcher, I really love that one. That's got sort of a heavy feel to it. Cool bass line. Lemmy driving a lot of these songs with his bass playing. Train Kept a Rollin' is a blues cover. Maybe one that we've heard too many times, but it's cool here, and it's pretty heavy. It's given the Motorhead treatment. So as a debut record, they're not 100% landing on the Motorhead sound here, but they're pretty gosh darn pretty close here. So I find it. I really like this record. I've been really enjoying it. It's loose. It's sloppy. I mean, no Motorhead record, at least in this early period, is some super tight thing. But especially on this one, it's a little looser and sloppier than what you get on Overkill and stuff like that. And I kind of like that. You know, the story goes that the band was getting ready to break up. The record label guy said, you know what, we'll record you at your final show. I believe they said it was at the Marquee. They couldn't afford the fee to record at the Marquee, so they decided, you know what, let's just do 2 days of studio time. So they basically went in and just played this album live, and that's what it sounds like a live in the studio thing. But it's really enjoyable. I like it. So okay, let me know what you guys think of the self-titled Motorhead album. Let me know down below, and I've got some more debut albums coming up. So let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Till we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.